Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hagoreja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Snowpiercer Season number 2, Episode number 10, which is titled Into the White. Now, we got a 2 episode premiere, Episode number 9 and 10 aired this week, and at first I was like, you know what, should I do an entire recap and review of Episode 9? But then I was like, no, because nothing actually happened. Episode 9 was all about Wilfred testing the loyalties of Layton's people like Ruth and Bess and even Alex, and trying to figure out what to do with these people. He offered Ruth the head position of hospitality. But however, it came with the price because Ruth had to tell everyone that Melanie is dead and that Melanie's plan didn't work, and their only hope is to stay inside Snowpiercer and listen to Wilfred. Of course, Ruth didn't agree, and then Ruth was sent to the compost department where Layton was already present, and yeah, it was an okay episode. And Alex stood up to Wilfred as well, and that's why Alex was sent into a cell too. And Audrey is all into Wilfred. At first, I was like, wait, is Audrey acting? But now Audrey isn't faking it. She really is into Wilfred right now, even though it kind of doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. So yeah, and he also made Bess his advisor, but he didn't listen to Bess when Wilfred was like, you know what, these are the how many were there, 10 or something people who ended up killing all of the breachmen. So Bess, what do you want me to do with them? And Bess was like, you know what, they need to stand trial. But Wilfred was like, yeah, okay, you are my advisor, but that doesn't mean that I'll have to listen to you. And he ended up killing all of those people. So episode number 9 was basically all about how crazy Wilfred is. Now episode 10, on the other hand, that's where a whole lot happened. So it opens up with Alex, and she's talking about how she remembers staying behind and Melanie leaving her with Snowpiercer, and then Wilfred took care of her, and Wilfred was basically her adoptive father, and she called him Daddy Dubs. However, Alex is like, you know what, over the years, even though I was very angry at my mom and the people of Snowpiercer, but when Melanie came back into my life, I got to see how Snowpiercer operated, how the community worked in there, and how Layton listened to other people, and she ended up warming up to Melanie. And as far as Alex is concerned, Melanie is still alive, and they need to go save her. So we got to we have a scene where Wilfred comes in, and he's like, Alex, have you cooled down? Are you still loyal to me? And Wilfred says that he needs Alex to forget about Layton. He needs her to forget about Melanie as well. And Alex is like, wait, you don't want me to forget about Layton and Melanie? You want me to renounce them? And that's something that I won't do. And Wilfred is like, you know what, Alex, you made your bed, so stay in the cell. Then we cut to Layton and Ruth, and because Harvey was able to send them a message in the previous episode about Melanie still being alive, Layton and Ruth are trying to figure out a plan to get out of the compost department, and their only option is to be as ruthless as Wilfred, or at least be able to risk everything. So their plan involves killing the guard outside the door, and they are able to succeed. And at first I was like, they're only going to hurt him, but no, Layton ended up killing the guard. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, these two get out, and they're like, you know what, we have to make it to Wilfred. We have to take control of the train away from him. So as they're making their way to the engine, this is where they enter the carriage where Alex is, and Ruth is like, Alex, are you going to help us? Alex is like, no, I need to stay here, or else Wilfred will be suspicious. However, I will tell you that there's a secret passageway into Wilfred's bedroom, so you can use that. And Ruth and Layton are like, you know what, that's good. We are planning to take over the train. And then we cut to Wilfred, and he's eating dinner, and Bess is there, and Audrey has a hangover or something. Kevin comes back in, and Kevin is like, yeah, Mr. Wilfred, Zara isn't eating. She's basically on a hunger strike. And Kevin is like, you know what, if you say so, I can force feed her and beat her up a bit. And Wilfred ends up slapping Kevin in the face, and he's like, no, that's not what we're going to do. And he asks Bess about why he's so interested in Zara. And Bess is like, because being pregnant comes with certain privileges. And Wilfred is like, yep, Zara is carrying Layton's baby. And basically, as far as the rebellion in Snowpiercer is concerned, Layton is royalty, and his kid is royalty too. So they need that royal Layton jelly. When Wilfred said jelly, I just laughed. So they need that baby, and they need to take care of Zara. And while we talking about Layton's child, where's Miles? Like, why hasn't Miles been appearing more in this season? I have no idea, because Miles is Layton's adoptive son. He should be involved more. Wilfred should be using Miles in order to blackmail Layton or something. But Miles not being in this episode, really not being in. I mean, in this entire season, he only appeared for like two episodes, and basically for a minute or two. But yeah, hopefully season 3 will get more Miles. So Layton and Root are able to use the secret passageway, and they enter Wilfred's room. And this was a funny scene too, because Layton and Root end up taking weapons that Wilfred had. They were swords, and Root had a short sword. And Layton is like, "Okay, Root, we're going to go in and we're going to attack the two guards in 1, 2." And Root just rushed in, and she ended up killing one of the guards. And Layton took care of the other guard, and they're able to tell Harvey about their plan, about how they need to go back for Melanie, and they need to switch tracks, and they need to take control of the train, and they also have to handle Wilfred. And Harvey is like, "You know what, Layton and Root, you do what you can. You both need to go back to Snowpiercer. Well, I'll try to send a message to Ben about our plan." And then we cut to Josie and this woman, and they're basically testing out Josie's prosthetic arm. And yeah, I'm just happy that Josie is recovering, and she's basically like, through Josie we are getting to see more of the sci-fi element of this show. So Alex decides to go to Wilfred, and she's like, "Wilfred, I'm sorry. I'm loyal to you. I got caught up in Melanie's fantastical plans, and I'll also apologize to Miss Audrey." And while Wilfred is listening to Alex, LJ comes in, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, LJ is going to see right through Alex's acting, because LJ, we know that she's a psychopath." So LJ comes in, and this is and yeah, you can just tell that she's very suspicious of Alex. And before Alex walks off, she whispers to Bess that Layton has escaped and they're taking charge of the train, so be ready. So Harvey is able to send a message to Ben, and he ended up using a coded secret message so that Sykes, that's what Ben doesn't understand what Harvey's talking about. So he's basically telling Ben about the coordinates and where they need to switch tracks. So everyone is ready, and we get to see that Root and Layton are able to escape Big Alice through one of the large boxes, and they're able to enter the carnival carriage. And yeah, I was actually very intrigued by the carnival carriage we got to see in episode number 9. And I was like, where the heck is Wilfred getting all of this electrical power to run these machines? And it turns out that, yeah, as long as Wilfred is getting what he wants, and he's getting the comfortable life that he wants, he's okay with killing people, which involves maybe the people who are ill or the people who are old. So as long as killing people means that he'll have more resources to exploit, he's okay with it. So anyway, back to the episode. Root and Layton enter the carnival carriage, and Boki is there, and Lights is there, and one of the other tailies is there, and yeah, everyone. Layton tells everyone the plan, that they're going to take over Snowpiercer, and they have to act. Then we cut to Audrey and Zara, and Audrey is basically telling Zara that she needs to listen to Wilfred. And Zara is like, "Audrey, what happened to you? Why have you changed?" And Audrey is like, "I haven't changed. I've always been about surviving, and I'm surviving while being with Wilfred." And then there's a knock on at the door, and Bess comes in, and Bess ends up hitting Audrey, or like punching Audrey right in the face, and Audrey faints. And I was like, "Yep, I am here for this." So Bess tells Zara that Layton is out and they're planning something, and they're going to use Audrey as a hostage. And this is where Sykes ends up realizing that Ben is up to something, and Ben closes the door to the engine. However, he has to take care of Sykes, and I was like, "Oh no, Ben, you're an engineer, you're not a fighter. I'm not really sure how you're going to take her out." And yeah, she beats up Ben real good. And because the track has changed and the train is wobbly, the instability of the train ends up giving Ben a chance to hit Sykes and tie her up. And yeah, he tells Ben that he tells Harvey that yeah, they are going to go back for Melanie. However, they have to take care of Wilford because Wilford is going to notice the change in track. So yeah, Wilford is like, why the heck is this train moving like this? So he asks Alex to call Ben and learn what's up. And Alex talks to Ben, and Ben is like, you know what? We're going back for Melanie and Alex. I need you to distract Wilford a bit longer. And Alex basically lies to Wilford about how everything is okay and they haven't changed tracks or anything. And this is where LJ speaks up about Alex lying, and LJ is like, you know what? I remember your mother lying like that, and I was like, why? So Wilford realizes that Alex was lying, and he's like, you know what? We need to take control of the engines. So he ends up going to Harvey. And poor Harvey, he closes the engine door, but the engine door isn't as strong as the one on Snowpiercer. And I was like, please don't do anything bad to Harvey, because I like him. I like him as a character. So while that's happening, we cut to Melanie making her way to Snowpiercer, and yeah, this is the scene we saw in her episode, and now we get to know, and now we know why Snowpiercer was acting like that and what actually happened in that train. So moving on, Wilford is able to open up the door to the engine, and he beats Harvey up, and Harvey is like, you can't kill me, Mr. Wilford, because you need engineers. And this is where Wilford ends up sticking like ordering Jupiter, his dog, to bite Harvey. And at first I was like, wait, is Jupiter going to kill Harvey? But now I do think that Harvey is still alive, and Wilford is going to patch him up, and he's going to use him as blackmail or something. I'm just glad that Harvey is alive. So now that he has control of the engine, this is where Alex is like, Wilford, why are you doing this? We need to get back to Melanie. Her research is correct. The planet is warming up. There is hope for humanity. But of course, Wilford, because he has this weird God complex, he doesn't want anyone to get off Snowpiercer. And he's like, you know what, Alex, I'm disappointed in you. Even though I'm the one who raised you, you're more like Melanie than you're more like me. And Alex is like, no, I'm like both of you. And Wilford is like, nope. And Alex then tells Wilford that he'll never be the leader that Melanie was. And this is where Wilford smacks Alex on the face. And Alex is like, you know what? I need to do something about this, because Wilford actually tells Alec that she wasn't like his daughter. She was basically a tool to pry out Melanie, and she served her purpose. And Alex takes out a razor blade from her mouth, and she ends up cutting Wilford's neck, and she runs away while Wilford is bleeding out. And again, you just know that Wilford will be able to heal, because the guards end up taking him to the Haywards and they stitch him up. And this is where Wilford is like, you know what, I'm done waiting. Prepare Josie. This is her time to do what I had planned, and why I ended up giving her all of those experimental procedures to resist snow or the cold outside. And Alex ends up making her way to Boki and Layton, and Alex is like, you know what, I have a plan to save Melanie. And Layton is like, let's talk about it while we're on our way. So they end up going back to Root, and Root is like, wait, so you want to disconnect Snowpiercer from Big Alice? We can't do that during lockdown. And Boki is like, no, we can do that, because there's one carriage in this entire train that can be disconnected manually, and that's the aquarium, because the aquarium was designed to, again, separate itself from the main train manually, even during lockdown and all of that stuff. So yeah, they are going to disconnect aquarium, and then Layton is going to take the 10 carriage pirate train, as he called it, and they're going to go back to Melanie, and then they'll turn back and catch up with Big Alice. And Root is like, you know what, it's a crazy idea, but we have to do it. And yeah, Josie is getting ready to go outside and go into Snowpiercer's engine and take control away from Ben. Layton ends up going to Zara, and he's like, Zara, I need you to come with me on the pirate train. And Zara is like, no, Layton, I won't leave Snowpiercer like that, because I am with child, and I need to stay safe, and I also need to keep the child safe, and I'll wait for you here, and Wilford won't do anything to me. And Layton is like, okay, Zara, I'll come back for you. Again, where the heck is Miles? So Josie is, of course, worried about going outside, and the doctor is like, no, you're ready. We'll be here for you to heal you up, but you have to do this. and Josie is sent outside, and she's walking on top of the train, and this is where Ben notices someone outside, and he's like, wait, who's that? And Sykes tells Ben about Josie being on top, and how she's going to come and she's going to kill Ben and take control of the train for Wilfred. And Ben is like, no, it's Josie, she won't do that. And he ends up contacting Josie, and he tells her about the plan. So it's Layton's turn to keep Wilfred occupied, and they both meet in a corridor. And Wilfred is like, "We're going back for Melanie, and I need you to step out of my way." And yeah, it doesn't necessarily work. And Layton runs off, and he's basically baiting Wilfred to follow him. And Ruth needs to make her way to Layton as well. However, she goes past the hospitality office, and this is where she ends up noticing her coat. And she's like, I need to get that back. And I'm like, Ruth, don't do this, don't do that. And of course, as soon as she picks up the coat, she turns around, and Kevin is there. And Kevin is like, yep, I thought I smelled compost. And he basically is like, you know what, give the coat back, Ruth, or else I'll tase you. And Ruth is able to take the taser away from Kevin, and Kevin screams when she tases him. And I was like, okay, it was kind of funny, because again, Kevin is a very weird character. I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do. He's kind of crazy, but I also don't want him to die. But yeah, so Ruth runs away, and Layton brings Wilfred to the aquarium, and he tells Wilfred that he needs to not harm anyone on Snowpiercer, especially the tailies, or else they're going to harm Audrey, who they're using as a hostage and all of that stuff. And Wilfred is like, you know what, Layton, I don't trust you. I think you're bluffing. If you really are who you're acting to be, why don't you hurt Audrey? Why don't you just hurt Audrey in front of me? And this is where Wilfred also tells Layton that he figured out his plan, because again, we know that Wilfred is a very, very smart person, and he knows how the train operates. And Wilfred is like, yeah, I knew about your plan to disconnect the aquarium. However, I won't allow you to manually do it, because Wilfred ended up sending guards to Boki, and yeah, Boki is unable to manually disconnect the aquarium. And this is where Layton loses his cool, and Layton is like, one more step, Wilfred, and I'll kill Audrey. And Wilfred is like, you know what, Layton, do it. And at first I was like, wait, is Layton really going to do it? I think he would have done it, but he didn't have to, because Josie ends up breaking the aquarium from above after what Ben told her. And we get this cool CGI effect of the fish being frozen, and the aquarium then is destroyed. And yeah, Layton got his 10-carriage pirate train, while Wilfred is still on Snowpiercer. And Ruth is happy that Layton's plan worked, but Ruth is like, uh-oh, I'm stuck with Wilfred now. And again, I really don't want anything bad to happen to Ruth. So it will be very interesting to see what Wilfred decides to do with the people on Snowpiercer who aren't loyal to him, while Layton, Josie, Ben, and Bess are on the pirate train. So it's time for Layton and Alex to make their way to the research center. And while that's happening, the 10-carriage Snowpiercer has come to a halt, and it's heating up like a Ferrari. And we get to see Alex and Layton reaching the research center, and there's no sign of Melanie anywhere. And of course, Alex is like, no, I don't want her to die. I know she's still alive. And they end up finding her data in a tent which she was keeping warm. And I was like, you know what? She ended up finding a geyser or something. So I need you to search there. And Layton goes there, but it turns out that no, Melanie ended up eating all of the rats, and the cold crept in. So yeah, I'm not really sure if Melanie is still alive. However, I do think that she is. I really, really think that Melanie is still alive. She's still out there somewhere. She's smart. She might have figured out a way to survive or something, because I don't see her giving up her life. But yeah, we'll have to wait for season 3 to come around to find out. So Alex is reading Melanie's journal. Melanie telling Alex how Alex gave her hope, and she's happy that Alex will be able to have a chance at the future. And then we get to see Melanie's data up on the screen, and the countries in yellow are the places where it's getting warmer, and you can see that it's basically half of Australia. And then we have almost quarter of Africa, I think the entirety of the Middle East, and then a bit of Afghanistan and Iran, as far as I can tell, and then a bit of South America. So yeah, there are a lot of places where it's getting warmer and humanity might end up having a chance to live. So yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen in season number 3. And Josie comes in and she is also happy about all of the data as well, because again, humanity has a chance and they need to take this information to Big Alice and they need to take back the train. And Layton is like, you know what, Ben, let's go back and take our train. And yeah, this is where the episode ends. I will be doing a written review of this for the Geek Theory. The link to that will be down in the comment section below. I really enjoyed this finale. Yeah, Wilfred is still alive. Personally, I would like Wilfred to die already, but let's see what happens in season number 3. And as far as I know, I think Harvey is still alive, and I think that Melanie is still alive. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.